We're talking about, well, the press release that should have been sued as a result of the fact that the lawsuit was
You wanted to add
dismissed.
the rest of that part to that same press release.
Pardon me?
You wanted to talk about the financial
No,
things.
we
that
wanted
brought up.
to issue a press release, period. The
Including
press release
that.
should have been released. There are two issues, should have been released about the lawsuit.
One press release.
So let's just talk about that. Why can't we, why would you give a direction to the superintendent not to issue a press release regarding the dismissal of a $12 million lawsuit? That, by the way, you guys touted all we heard about is that's why so much negativity was generated about this district. And now the district is feeling a little bit of exoneration and we've been relieved of that burden, and you don't want that out there in the public domain from the district. Why on earth would that be?
You know that's not true.
I got your email here, Mike.
No, let's read my email.
Let me,
Please read it.
just give me a
And
minute.
make sure you read it in
Anybody else have a
order.
copy?
Would you like me to read it?
Oh, yeah.
Please do, please
As
do.
I understand the ruling yesterday to be good news, it does not involve the majority of the current board. I do not think it in the board's best interest to do a press release of this kind. I can understand if the people involved in the ruling want a press release written, but I think the board should be careful until the issue is resolved completely.
Okay, so it was resolved completely.
Well, hold on.
No.
Let's read the other email to us, full disclosure. So
Whatever.
how about the other one? The whole board got this, and Lisa Wright. First, I would like to, this is me writing Lisa Wright. First, I'd like to congratulate everyone involved in the lawsuit on the favorable ruling. I know it's a vindication and relief to all involved. I also think that it's important for me to comment on this ruling, but may not be appropriate for me to have this press release coming from me. I'm assuming there's a press release coming. I never said not to have a press release go.
That's what.
No, they-
Your last, and then linking two of them together, your last comment is about being fully informed on the current issue, which is about the issue we talked about with the attorney tonight. And I do not agree that this has happened. I also believe that the available facts prove my assertions are correct.
I don't know what that, what you're referring to in that last part, and it matters not. The email that's in the red, you directed Dr. Ricker not to issue a press release.
Right,
So,
because after that, Dr. Ricker started working on one.
it's just inappropriate. It should happen,
No,
it's
you're
district
exaggerating,
business.
it's not, you're
You
trying to
wanted
turn
link
something
both
into something
issues,
it's
and I
not, it's
had
not
a
true.
problem with that.
No,
There were threats made against us, and I
There's
had an
nothing
issue
in
with
here
it.
linking that. And not only that, but at that point, when Lisa had sent this out, we had already had this discussion with James Petrogano, and we had found out some information that we would have loved to have shared, and we weren't, that's what you had a problem with. And that's fine, but then it's the majority of the board. It's not just, if one person has a problem with it.
Fine, you're here, you can vote on it, issue your press release, but don't include me with that part of it. There were certain threats made against us, and I had an issue with it.
What was going on there was you were trying to link, Lisa was trying to link both the issues together. And I should certainly assume that you were going to issue the press release. I mean, this is
The
clear.
press release would relate solely to
And
the
I clear,
dismissal of a lawsuit,
certainly
that's a big
separated
deal.
both, so.
That's a big deal, sorry.
Yeah, we do a press release about what
It is a big
It
deal,
is a
and I
big deal,
think
and it
it
should
should
have
be
been
released.
issued, and I think going forward, we need to reconsider how we're doing this. Because I don't have any faith in your ability to decide what should or should not be issued press release wise, particularly by the superintendent that involves District 113A business.
Like I said, again, that's almost like silly.
Well, because
Because
of this email, though, it did stop Dr. Ricker because he was in process. I mean, there's a whole chain here, and it did stop him because he didn't, it was controversial at that point. And this is something that it would have been nice to have been able to share with the public.
But you also wanted to link the financial things with it.
I didn't want to.
No, not in that, not in that.
No.
I was not
No one else.
involved.
As a
I
matter
was
of
reading
fact,
all
did
this
you
going
read
back
that?
and forth.
As a matter of fact,
I mean, this is almost silly, so.
Mike, no, it is kind of
It
silly.
is.
Why don't we discuss this at
Almost
board
silly.
meeting?
I don't have
What
a
else can you
power to
discuss
stop
it?
the superintendent from
Because
releasing
if this
anything.
comes up again,
So
discuss
it's ridiculous.
because if this comes up again now, which.
For at least press release.
All right, so-
Again, but let me say something.
Please do.
In 340, let me read, our policy states, being the liaison, this is the superintendent, role of the superintendent. Being the liaison between the board and staff, maintaining open relationships with other governmental bodies and agencies, representing the district as its spokesperson, and being an advocate for the district and its students. So if he's supposed to be a spokesperson, then why is he not able to issue press releases, and why are you saying?
That's a question
The
I
first
already
letter
had
asked
said
you
he
to
could.
write.
Right, I totally
Like
agree
you
with
said,
that.
you said, that was your follow-up email saying it shouldn't be me.
The first one was saying, I already assumed it was going
So
out.
if you send us
Already
a second
assumed.
email, we should always ignore the second email and always go back to the first.
And the next one was just a clarification, I already
I mean,
assumed he was going out.
All right.
How about
Now, Dr. Rivers
What-
certainly knows he can release a
what do you
press
think?
release if he wants to,
Well, actually, I don't,
so.
because I feel we need direction, the administration needs direction from the Board of Education, because I heard from a majority of the board, but because there's no action in a public session, we have that conversation, and I heard from the board president, I got conflicting messages.
What does the board president tell you?
That he didn't feel it was in the best interest of the district to release a press release.
Okay.
So I stopped, and my email I sent back said, I understand your direction per, board policy, and, need direction from the majority of the board. So all I'm looking for, I can write all the press releases you want. I'm just looking for direction, because we have a conflicted board, we have, on issue to issue, and I don't want to be put in the middle to decide whether I do a press release or don't do a press release based on which 4 people are in the yay of doing the press release and which 3 are not.
Unless it's during the meeting.
Exactly. That's, I don't know how clear I can put that. I can write press releases left and right, I
So you
understand.
didn't send one out because you were instructed by the president not to.
But that's an instruction that's not possible. That's what I'm getting at. I cannot instruct
Okay.
him not to run.
You always
Right,
said it.
so the board
Regardless-
president,
regardless,
wait,
I'd like
the
to put a
fact,
motion
here's the
out
fact,
there
the board,
to change our
this is a ruling from our attorney. The board president or any one member of the board, for that matter, cannot direct whether a press release on behalf of the board is to be issued.
So
That's a
now,
fact. I
Dr.
can't do
Rivers is
it.
supposed to just not listen to what you're saying and say, sorry, Mike, it doesn't work
Yeah,
that way.
here
I'm
you
just
go
moving
again.
ahead."
Now, if it was so conflicting and so important, I'm
But
assuming it's
the
going out
problem.
already.
We need somebody who.
Already assuming it's going out. I still go ahead and do it. And I offered a comment.
I would like to do.
I'm not involved in the lawsuit. I was certainly would, and I offered a comment on it, no problem, but I don't have intimate knowledge of this.
We are the board now.
That was the first.
Whether that legal opinion or not, I understand that, but it's board policy, in policy 2110, number 9, is the president's responsibility is to serve as the board's official spokesperson to the meeting. So we have that, we have a responsibility here by the board to communicate with the public, we violated that one. So, the policies are clear, and the instruction to the superintendent is clear.
The superintendent and the board president both are the official spokesmen for the district and the board.
Well, maybe we need to change that.
So,
Right.
well, I'm sure that's.
Superintendent's the employee. Okay.
And then would anybody, full disclosure, so Lisa writes me a nice letter also. After I say this, go ahead and release the ruling. So that's, or actually this is just before this, wouldn't you be careful?
You never
Never.
did, Mike.
Why doesn't it say that? Does it say go ahead and release it? You never said that.
Well, let me read it again. I also think that it's important for me to comment on this ruling, but may not be appropriate for me to
That
have
was the
this
first one, go
press
to the
release
second
coming
one.
from me.
So which one should come first? So should we take your first email or your second one?
It gets
So-
back to.
And then also, wouldn't this concern anybody who's a
This
board
should come from
president?
you, it doesn't say issue the press release.
And then Lisa writes, and quite frankly, I feel like gloating for a while.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. The
Being
district should be
president
going
at
for
the
a while.
time, the
America's
lawsuit-
lawsuit was
The
dismissed.
lawsuit was filed, I like to contribute my thoughts, not that any of the other individuals named in a lawsuit can't, but the district has to put out a press release. Remember, it's about the brand. Well, it's not about the brand for me. We need positive press
It's not
time,
about
and
the
this is
district, it's not about
absolutely
kids, it's
that.
about the staff, what's it about?
It isn't the
It is-
district.
And then also it says, Mike, I think it's also appropriate for you to acknowledge that now, after being fully informed, which I totally disagree, there was nothing done that was illegal. And I think the fact is the opposite. Right.
Hence the lawsuit was
You're
dismissed.
linking them both together.
No, I'm talking about the lawsuit.
Yeah, you're
This is
talking
both
about-
linking together. This is
I'm
equals
talking
both.
about the lawsuit that was dismissed. It's very clear that it addresses that. If you want to twist it all up, that's fine.
Illegal, what are you talking about? So the only statements I've made, I was talking about the
Mike,
issue of
you're
before
talking about
today.
something other than the
Right.
lawsuit comes from.
We're only talking about the lawsuit
And
here.
both were there, so.
So we need to figure out how we're going to proceed going forward.
Right.
We have a policy in place.
Only it isn't being followed.
The violation.
It was filed.
That's been violated.
It was-
So so,
There was conflicting information with that press release that was to be issued. I read it, that you wanted to say that nothing happened with the June financials. I had an issue with it.
Kevin, how
We're not even
many-
talking about that.
Kevin,
But you wanted to.
Kevin, how
They
many-
were both
No,
things, can you
no.
pretend like it's not true, but.
Can you help me word that, please?
Put forward a motion to amend policy 2110, number 9, and take the responsibility from the president to serve as the board's official spokesperson to the media and assign it to another board member.
Second.
No.
Okay?
I hope everybody sees what this is about.
Oh, no.
Mike, you just said it's not about the district.
It's not about
It's
the
not about
district.
you. Well,
Yeah,
you
it's
are
about
you're the board.
You're making it about him,
You're
not
making it
his
about me,
position.
exactly
You're making it
right.
about him.
Exactly right.
Look, he's gotta think about the district, okay, as a whole. That was wonderful news for the district, it should have gone out to the media, and it didn't because of an email he sent to Dr. Ricker that was against 2 positions in our policy. So what is he supposed to do? Send it out anyway?
Well, hold on a second here, so, let's take a look
It
here
says that
again.
you
My
would hear
second, my
multiple-
second
Okay, so
email,
there's
which is
motion
only
on the
sent
floor.
shortly
Motion on
after
the
that.
floor, now it's
Hold on,
We're
discussion.
having discussion.
Discussion.
Did you get a second?
Yeah,
Yes,
who was the
please.
sec- I did.
If you're gonna start going through all the policies and start overriding them, where are you gonna start?
When we,
These policies are in place.
Other issue, fine.
these, yeah.
There's a lot of policies that have been violated, and we discussed some of them in closed
We'll
session.
address, we'll address them. We have
So,
to
so
do
what
this
you
in
wanna
session.
do is change
This
the
is on the
way
agenda
this
now.
board, you wanna change the way this board operates.
Yes.
We want to change to make sure that we don't violate board policy.
And
It could be
actually,
changed.
no
Some of
board
the other
policy
policies
was,
that violated,
absolutely no
that
board
violated, that
policy
caused a lot
was
of damage.
violated, that's absolutely untrue. And the
It's
second,
not
this
an
is,
issue.
this is the opinion from the
This is
attorney.
about the person.
No, it's not.
You're making it about
Yeah.
the person. It's
It's
not about the
district.
position. You're making it about the person.
It's about the district, and it's about board policy.
Getting in there, so furthermore, this is the written opinion from our attorneys. Furthermore, the superintendent is expressly authorized in board policy 3-4 to serve as the district spokesman, and thus maintains the authority to issue press releases concerning the school district's affairs. No one member of the board can order the superintendent not to issue a press release. Only a majority of the board can give such direction to the
Is
superintendent.
that legal?
Which,
We got that,
which
right?
attorney is
Right.
that
That's
you
right,
got
that's
that
after
email
we had to go through it all, that we were already being prevented from
This is
doing
the
it.
29th of, this is the 29th of July.
We went out and sought legal opinion, right?
This is the 29th of July, and my statements are sent on the 28th, it's a day later. You know right
But the fact
away.
remains that he was directed not to do it, and you didn't. Just like
And-
you direct him to do all kinds of things, Mike,
All
you directed him
kinds.
not to do that. You direct him about the agenda. There are multiple things that you, via board email, and we see them all, direct Dr. Ricker to do and others. So he was given a direction not to do it, and he didn't do it. Fine, we've arrived at that point. There's a motion on the table. It was seconded. Are we done with discussion?
No, we're not. Let's see here. This certainly isn't a direction.
Can
did
majority
not
board say
direct
we
it.
want
It's
a
not
press release and
direction.
issue it, whether he's president or not? With this policy, the way it is as it stands.
All right, so reading through this again here, so this,
Hold on,
this.
hold on, I
Okay.
can answer this.
Thanks.
The point would be, Al, you don't want to have to keep going back over and over again for every issue that
This was
comes
a
up.
controversial issue, people on the board. Okay, you can say that you didn't link the other issue, I saw it as a link.
Dismiss.
I thought this was a district issue.
It's a
This was
district
this was
You wanted to
a dark
tie
cloud
June
hanging over the
financial
district.
issue with this
A
press
dark
release.
cloud hanging over the district that we got wonderful
No.
news on.
This was
Absolutely
something that we signed our names onto.
You're absolutely wrong.
No, I'm
We're
absolutely
not
correct.
tying it to the
I even
June
responded
financial
with an email.
statements. Does any other board member tie this to the June financial statement?
No.
I certainly don't.
I didn't.
Mr.
Wasn't my intent.
You tied it.
I thought
It was-
somehow it did
yeah.
tie it, and that's, I
It was
mean,
certainly
that's why I
meant
thought
to.
we'd have a discussion
Yeah.
today and decide how we want to.
And that was my issue.
Yeah, and that's, Karen, you're right, and that's precisely what we're doing. So this is really productive, good discussion.
No, this is an event.
This is this is vendetta is what it is,
No,
right?
but I think what we need to do
Uh,
is just agree how we're gonna handle it going forward.
Well, we
Keep
have a
the-
motion on
keep
the table,
current
we're having a
policy in
discussion.
place and,
That's exactly
and move
right.
forward.
Right.
I agree.
So, okay, so let's go through this. I directed Dr. Ricker, this is not a direction. This is the one you're
Mine, you
speaking.
can say whatever you want.
I understand, but at least want to get it for the record as the absolute below. So as I understand the ruling yesterday to be good news, It does not involve the majority of the current board, which is a fact. There's five of the 7 have nothing to do with them.
So that's
I do not, they're not involved in the lawsuit.
It's incorrect, it does have to do with the board.
Stop mocking
It
him.
has to do with some of the board and the district.